So I was on the threads, Instagram threads, and I seen this post that someone made, and they said 80 million people were expected to be traveling for Thanksgiving, the holiday that just passed. And you have people who are Black Friday shopping and whatnot, and they're saying, well, these are the same people that complain about eggs, so where's all the money? Y'all saying y'all ain't got no money, but y'all out here traveling. And I looked up, they said on ChatGPT, I said, okay, so what is the US population? It said it's about 346 million, 346.1 million. So let's just say 346 million. Okay. So you go and divide that with 80 million people. It's only about 23% of people in America. We know for a fact that 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. So I don't think these are the same people that would necessarily complain. Now, of course, you're going to have people complaining of any group that they're in, any tax bracket that they're in. But I'm looking at this and I'm like, what are we even talking about here? Because at the end of the day, you do realize credit cards, the cheddar charge, they exist, right? So just because you're able to do some Black Friday shopping for the holidays because it's been a tradition since you've been alive, and going and hanging out with your family, maybe you had to relocate for a job, whatever the case may be. Just because you decide, okay, I'm going to go ahead and visit my family, now somehow because you're poor, you shouldn't be buying turkeys or hams. You should only be buying ramen noodle soup. Because you're poor, you should never be able to get on a flight. You should only get on your bike or walk to 15 states over to go and see your family. That don't make sense. Because you're poor now, you shouldn't be able to go and buy some nice shoes that you care about, or, a nice outfit, or, buy a new laptop that you need. Because you're poor, now all of a sudden you're not supposed to be able to enjoy life at all when it can be taken from you like that. That's why you also had this splurging of spending during the pandemic. People were looking like, man, life is too short. Like I really took for granted life, and seeing how all these people are struggling, seeing this going on, seeing that going on. You know what? I'm done. I'm going to go and splurge. And you had a lot of people who ended up doing that. And I don't necessarily think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong necessarily with just splurging here and there. Okay, you work so long, you work your arse off, okay? You work at 40, 50, 60 hours a week. You got bad jobs, you got underpaid jobs, and people say, oh, well, just get a better job. Don't you think if everyone could just get a better job, everyone would just get a better job? You got people who are paying employers who are trying to pay you freaking $13, $14 an hour, and you got a bachelor's degree. You know what I mean? You got rent, toll tags, everything that's going up more and more and more. Oil changes going up. Your transmission blew out. Your tire is flat. You got, and not everyone knows that there's a discount tire that does it for free. Puts a plug in there if they don't have to replace the tire. Now everyone knows all this other stuff, but not everyone is able to get food stamps. Not everyone is able to get Medicare or whatever, the Medicaid, whatever it is that is there. Not everyone else is able to get all this stuff. Okay. So you guys are over here looking and saying, well, you see, you guys over here spending money on this. People can't live and enjoy because you're poor. You're just supposed to be poor and not buy anything that you would like. Because you're poor, you're supposed to be using a flip phone because you're poor. Because you're poor, you shouldn't be getting a new laptop because you're poor. Because you're poor, you can't go and get a nice dress, something that'll make you feel good. You know what I mean? I find that argument to be absolutely ridiculous when people go out and say it, because I'm just like, what are we even talking about? Because people don't have money. People are struggling. Oh, well, look at the debt. Look at the debt. Just struggle, just struggle. Like I seen it was this quote, and I understand it for a certain amount, but part of it I was like, okay. I think it was Jim Carrey, which was like, well, I'd rather struggle for a year so you can make your money. Entertainers don't count because your average person isn't going to go from making $30,000 a year to $10 million the next year. Your average person's not doing that. If that was true, then everyone would be a millionaire here. You know what I mean? Or most people will be a millionaire in this country. And that just is not That's not the reality of the situation. And that's just is what it is, So I go ahead and look at all this stuff and I see that people over here judging everyone, being like, oh, well, you guys are doing Black Friday shopping, but y'all saying you ain't got no money. Oh, you guys over here talking about eggs, but y'all over here going out and traveling. So because I don't have any money, I shouldn't see my family. That don't make sense. I could barely afford gas, so I should just not go to work because I could hardly afford gas. The transmission on my car is going bad, or the brakes are going bad on my car, and I don't have any money right now to afford that because rent costs however much, this costs however much, this costs however much. I got laid off, so I'm just not supposed to go to work. I'm supposed to just walk to work. My tires, I can't afford to replace the tires, so I got a plug in there, and the plug isn't doing as well. So I gotta go and put some air in my tire, with the whole little tool that you got in your car. So I should just, because I can't afford a new tire, I should just stay home and lose my job. You know what I mean? It's like, what are we even talking about? Let people live, let people enjoy. Yeah, of course. Not everyone's making 100 grand. Okay, you got people who are making 30 grand, 40 grand, 50 grand a year. But in terms of expenses, you're looking at what? If you make a 50 grand, you're looking at probably $45,000 worth of expenses, or gross. Let's just look at it like that, because if you make a 50 grand a year, you're probably only bringing in around 30, and that's about how much that you're using for your expenses. And then you got family members who need money, family members who also are like, yo, I'm struggling, could you help me out? And then you give some money, but it's because you're poor, you're just not supposed to do anything. You're poor, you're just supposed to be sitting in the house all day. You're poor, you're never supposed to enjoy life, never live life, even though you got these corporate, greedy people that are in charge, where they got 10, 15 boats, 5 private islands, 15,000 jets, and they could just live. But you supposed to be struggling. Y'all made record profits. Then we're like, oh, can we get a bonus? Y'all get some pizza from Domino's. I think there's a bigger problem here, not people going and enjoying just a little sliver that they can on the dang Black Friday. And I was actually looking at a news report too, where they were talking about Black Friday shopping, and just the whole thing with it, and how people are shopping for themselves mostly this Black Friday, as opposed to buying gifts for the family. Because I was looking at it when I was watching this thing, and I'm like, okay, so you got all these people who've been struggling all year, no deals anywhere. God, you had like Amazon Prime deals, but those things suck. They take off like 50 cents if you really think about it, because they bring up the price about like $5 and they take off $4.50. That ain't much, So you really, or maybe, they bring it up by $5, they take off $5.50. So it's not much. So Black Friday, yeah, you got the bigger deals. So you have people who, this is the only time of the year that they really could go and buy something that they really want. Whether that be, like for me, I went and did the Walmart Black Friday. I don't go physically into Walmart by myself anymore for reasons that I mentioned on this video, but I do it online. And I went and bought me some movies, bought the Harry Potter collection, because I really love Harry Potter. Home Alone, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, a lot of Christmas movies as well. The Halloween 1, 2, Halloween 1, 2, 3. That was Halloween 1 was one separate thing. The Halloween 2 and 3 was another separate thing. Then it was a Halloween H2O. I think it was 2 or 3 movies in that one. So I went and bought that too. Because I'm like, well, I like this, and they're about $5, $10 a piece or something like that. For all that, I think I even got the Miser Brother Christmas. Was I able to get that? I think I was able to get that. I think Year Without Santa Claus. One of them I wasn't able to get, but anyway. But looking at all that, I'm like, okay, so I'm poor, so I shouldn't at all be able to get some freaking DVDs that's going to make me happy. Really? So you're poor, you're just not supposed to get anything. Really? Now it's one thing if you're buying a freaking TV, for crying out loud, where it's like you spend $1,000 on this TV and you already got a TV. Like these people that be buying new TVs every year. But if this is something that is going to bring you joy, and there's nothing wrong with what you already had before, or maybe your other thing is broke, whatever. Okay, but if this is something that's going to bring you joy and true happiness, what's the problem? I mean, seriously, what's the problem? What's the problem with people going and spending? Because most Americans don't even be traveling like that because we don't have holiday or anything like that. So what's the problem? What's the issue? What's the difference between me spending, let's say, $2,000? Really, I don't know who spent $2,000 unless you got a big family. But let's just say people spend like $500 on Black Friday, but they're not even going to really be traveling like that outside the country. Or if they do, maybe they go to a Kalahari or something like that. And then they do that later on in the year. What's really the problem? I mean, we're just making money to just work to live, work to just be alive, work to just put a roof over our head, but not to work to enjoy life. That's what this argument is. Y'all just not supposed to enjoy life. And people always say, oh, well, just go and get another degree. With what money and what time? What money am I going to get this degree with? What time? More grants so they could then not be forgiven? More, I mean, what are we talking about? You got teachers who got all this debt. I was watching one thing, and the lady, I did a video on it before, lady turned into an OnlyFans lady. She said, I did OnlyFans because she said I had about $300,000, got a master's degree and everything, and I'm only making about $40,000 a year at this dang school. And she said I went and did OnlyFans and I paid it off within like 2 months. This is the kind of society that we've built where they do not prioritize regular citizens who are trying to make a living. They don't care. They want to give money to people who are not even citizens. They want to give money to other countries, and they want to do all this other stuff. They want to make it so that when you lose your job, you lose your health care, you lose your medicines, you lose any kind of disability stuff that you were getting going at the job, whatever it was. You lose everything. Retirement, because you have your company matches and all that kind of stuff. So let's keep it real. People want to go and say like, oh, well, you guys are buying stuff. So you make it seem like people asking money for out of your pocket. Okay, let's keep it real. No one's saying, okay, Daniel, can I get some money out of your pocket? No one's saying that. So I guess I'm confused. Over here just scrolling through threads, and I'm just like, y'all, really? Y'all get mad because people are going Black Friday shopping because they've been miserable and depressed all year? And we know there's a thing called retail therapy. Your girl be doing it, okay? And I feel good after shopping, okay? But you're gonna go and tell me that because you're poor and you've been miserable all year because of everything that's been going on, whether you lost your job, whatever the case may be, you went through a terrible breakup, whatever, that you shouldn't be doing anything that's gonna make you feel good. Yeah, get out of here, man. Get out of here with that mess.